Hello everyone, history is easy. In this video, we will learn more about Wolsey's reforms in England. We will analyse to what extent they were a success or a failure, and we'll be able to answer an exam-style question that comes straight from the Edexcel GCSE 9-1 history test paper. If you want to achieve grades 7 to 9 in GCSE history, stay with me and continue to follow my page. So how did Wolsey secure a fairer justice system? 1. He oversaw many cases in person. 2. He made the reasons for his decisions public. 3. He encouraged poor people to bring cases to this court. 4. He supported the cases of the poor against the rich. 5. He increased the court's work rate from 12 cases a year to 120 cases a year.
My God! Oh my God!
So, Wolsey supported the cases of the poor against the rich. Is this a good thing? Is it a successful thing? Well, yes, because you can understand context-wise that the legal system in England was flawed, so it was often quite slow, very expensive, and there was unfair justice, and often verdict would favour those with the most money and influence. So this is your context-wise. So, of course, we can say that in that sense, Wolsey succeeded. If we wanted to go into further analysis, we could say that some felt that his main motivation was to get revenge on the upper classes. And in order to prove this point, you can even give an example. For example, as a young priest, Wolsey had been humiliated by Sir Amyas Paulet, who had him placed in the stocks. When he became Lord Chancellor, Wolsey summoned Paulet to his Star Chamber on a made-up charge. Wolsey then refused to see Paulet and made him come to the court every day for 5 years or risk losing his property. So this is an example of us going into further analysis and actually saying that Wolsey's motivation was to actually get revenge, and therefore, is this really an example of fairer justice? Does this mean that we can use this argument for and against? Yes, we can. We can also explain that Wolsey was prepared to use his position to punish those who held grudges against him, if we wanted to counter-argue the fact that he brought cases of the poor against the rich was not necessarily a success, and behind it was his personal motive. Another way that Wolsey secured a fairer justice system was because he increased the court's work rate. So in order to prove that, we can say that initially the court was seeing 12 cases a year, and obviously after Wolsey strengthened the Star Chamber, which is basically Henry's royal court, there was 120 cases being seen every year. So this is an example of increased work rate. And it shows that more cases are being brought to the court, which suggests a better, more active justice system. If you find this video useful, don't forget to like and subscribe to my page. In this section, I will show you how to answer an exam-style question. In this case, it's a 16 marker with a statement that Wolsey made the justice system fairer. How far do you agree? Explain your answer. You may use the following in your answer: the court's work rate, cases of the poor against the rich. You must use information of your own. Exam tip. To do well in this question, identify 3 or 4 points for and against the argument. Ensure you have an accurate and relevant historical knowledge to expand upon each of your key points and decide which point was more important. So here I'm doing a starting sentence for each of my 3 paragraphs, and this is just to help you understand how I'm going to structure my answer. What you want to do is make sure that each paragraph talks about one topic or one point in particular, and that you don't mix up your ideas. So my first paragraph is an agree paragraph. On the one hand, I agree that Wolsey made the justice system fairer. And here I'm going to talk about the cases of the poor against the rich. For paragraph 2, I've clearly said, however, it can also be argued that Wolsey's justice system was flawed and not as fair as initially suggested. So here I'm going to talk about his personal grudges with certain individuals who he wanted to punish or for whatever reason. And then for my final paragraph, I'm going to speak about the justice system being fairer, and I will talk about the court's work rate increasing to actually show that the court was more operational than in the past, and probably use some figures to show that more cases were being seen per year. So here I've stuck a little plan just below my paragraph just to show you how I'm going to use that to actually write my paragraph. So on the one hand, I agree that Wolsey made the justice system fairer. This is because he was focused on bringing forward and supporting the cases of the poor against the rich. That's because he realised that the legal system in England was flawed, often slow, expensive and unfair justice, and verdict often favoured those with the most money and influence. So here I've tried to back up this idea by linking it to how things happened in the past and the fact that the justice system was actually not as fair. And then I've moved on to actually say that he clearly sent out a clear message that no one was above the law. And in order to prove that, I've given an example that in 1516, Henry Percy, the Earl of Northumberland, and one of the heroes of the Battle of the Spurs of 1513 was arrested. And the final thing we're going to do with this paragraph is link it back to the question to show the examiner that we know exactly why we're saying what we're saying. So by doing this, Wolsey ensured that justice was administered fairly, thus also announcing that reasons for his decisions publicly. And so this speaks about a fairer justice system, and then we've been able to give an example or two and prove the point and then link it back to the question. I hope you have found my video useful. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to my page. Thank you.